In our efforts to control the Mississippi River, we have converted a dynamic natural system into an over-engineered canal. This transformed system is now failing, contributing to the river's deterioration. This ongoing struggle highlights the profound impact of human intervention on the natural flow of the Mississippi. Our attempts to tame its waters have instead disrupted its balance, posing a significant threat to its health and vitality. This is a testament to the challenges of altering nature's course. This is why the Mississippi is dying. This is Geomore. Efforts to develop and control rivers for human benefit go back thousands of years. In the 6th century BC Mesopotamia, early civilizations along the mighty Tigris and Euphrates carved out one of the first instances of river manipulation, crafting elaborate irrigation and flood control systems to support their flourishing societies. Thousands of miles away, the ancient inhabitants of what is now Jordan were constructing elaborate dams that stood as early testaments to human ingenuity. However, at the end of the 19th century, a revolutionary idea began to take shape. Sir William Wilcox, a British civil engineer, was among the first to visualize river basins as a holistic system that could be developed in unison. He proposed and designed the first Aswan Dam and executed major irrigation projects in South Africa and Turkey. This thinking crossed oceans to the rugged landscapes of the American West. Here, John Wesley Powell envisioned dividing the western half into various river basin districts, integrating social structures with the natural environment sustainably and synergistically. These initial attempts were good, but they were just the beginning. The Mississippi River is the nation's second longest river, behind only the conjoining Missouri. It provides drinking water for 20 million people and supports a $12.6 billion shipping industry, with 35,300 related jobs within. It's one of the greatest water highways on Earth, carrying commerce and food around the world. Its extensive network, fed by thousands of lakes, creeks, and streams, makes the river water levels highly sensitive to weather patterns across the nation. Flood control efforts along the Mississippi River began as early as 1717, when the French constructed a small levee to protect the city of New Orleans. Over the following centuries, a complex network of levees and structures evolved to manage river floods. However, the pivotal moment arrived in 1927, when the water levels had surged by an astonishing 56 feet, or 17 meters. As the pressure mounted, the levees along the Mississippi River began to fail. Reports indicate that a total of 145 locations suffered breaches due to extreme water levels. The devastation was immense, with more than 27,000 square miles of land submerged in 10 different states. The financial toll of the flood amounted to a third of that year's entire Federal Reserve budget, highlighting the urgent need for preventative measures. The Mississippi River showed to be both a blessing and a curse. This catastrophic event propelled the United States government to launch its first comprehensive plan to develop the river basin. The Mississippi River and Tributaries Project was initiated, which is now regarded as one of the most successful civil works initiatives ever undertaken by Congress. The project led to the construction of the world's longest system of levees and floodways. Initially, the French-built levees stood only 3 feet, or 90 centimeters high, but by the 1980s, the United States had increased its average height to 24 feet, or 7.3 meters. In the upper part of Mississippi, a series of locks and dams were constructed to maintain a 9-foot or 2.7-meter depth to accommodate commercial barges. Meanwhile, the deeper waters of the lower Mississippi became navigable for cargo and even cruise ships. From 1927 to 2015, nearly $14.8 billion was invested in this project, yielding an estimated return of $639 billion. This translates to a return of $45 for every dollar invested. Despite several major floods, this expansive levee system has proven remarkably resilient. The frequency of flooding has diminished, and transportation along the river is now significantly more efficient. However, this success comes with its own set of challenges and consequences. For millennia, the Mississippi River was a vibrant habitat, teeming with millions of birds and fish. Yet, just within a few decades of damming and channeling, this dynamic ecosystem has transformed into what resembles a giant barge canal, now starkly less alive. The river's natural floodplain ecosystems, once thriving and rich, are drained and severed from their water source. But despite these changes, the Mississippi still supports 25% of all North American fish species and serves as a crucial flyway for 60% of the continent's migratory birds. This waterway acts as an economic superhighway, offering a transport method many times cheaper than land-based options. A single tow of 15 barges can carry as much cargo as 1,000 trucks, illustrating the scale of its capacity. The Mississippi River still remains a powerhouse in the economy, generating over $21 billion annually from fishing, tourism, and recreation. Conversely, the river's utility is not just outbound. Chemicals processed in Louisiana find their way upstream to factories in Pittsburgh, showcasing the river's critical role in both directions. What remains of this national treasure is not just an environmental asset, but also an economic one, making its protection a priority. Currently, there are 29 locks and dam structures along the upper Mississippi River that function like a stairway of water. This innovative system enables various vessels, from pleasure boats to towboats and massive barges, to navigate the significant altitude change that is a 420-foot drop from Minneapolis to Granite City, Illinois. This feat of engineering ensures smooth and safe passage along this stretch of the river. Moving to the lower sections of the Mississippi, you'll notice the absence of these lock and dam systems. The reason lies in the river's geography and the contribution from tributaries like the Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas, and Ohio rivers. These rivers feed into the Mississippi, naturally enhancing its width and depth as it flows downstream. The alteration of its natural course and the construction of levees have disrupted local ecosystems, threatening native species and diminishing biodiversity. These interventions also worsen the vulnerability of downstream communities to catastrophic floods. By reshaping the river, we have traded ecological health for short-term gains. Of all, pollution stands out as the primary and most significant issue troubling the Mississippi. As the river flows through one of the most productive agricultural regions in the world, it encounters vast quantities of chemical fertilizers. Essential for growing soybeans and corn, these nutrients often inadvertently leach into the river, where they become pollutants and economic losses for farmers. As a result, about 40% of the Mississippi watershed is polluted, compromising water quality to the extent that swimming and fishing are often discouraged. These nutrients ultimately travel downriver, culminating in the Gulf of Mexico, where they fuel rapid algae growth. When this algae dies, it decomposes, consuming oxygen and creating a vast dead zone that is devoid of life. This is costing the U.S. seafood and tourism industries an estimated $82 million annually. Despite extensive efforts to manage it, the river's behavior still remains unpredictable and uncontrollable. The summer of 2023 witnessed a massive snowpack melt in northern Minnesota and Wisconsin, which caused the river levels to rise abruptly, flooding communities in Iowa and Illinois. Just months later, the scenario reversed as Louisiana and Mississippi experienced their hottest August on record. By September, a severe drought affected over a third of the contiguous United States, leading to historically low water levels in the lower part of Mississippi by October. This required barge companies to reduce shipment weights significantly, increasing shipment costs by almost 77% and causing further delays when barges got stuck on sandbanks. Another significant challenge is saltwater intrusion. The Mississippi riverbed sits below sea level. Anytime flow drops below a certain volume, saltwater enters from the mouth of the river and travels upstream. In the 1980s, deepening the river's channel from 35 to 45 feet intensified this issue. Then, the severe North American drought from 1988 to 1990 made the situation worse, allowing saltwater to intrude more than 100 miles upriver. This made the water too salty for irrigation or drinking, and damaged the pipes and distribution systems. Despite these issues, the river was deepened further to 50 feet in 2022. This decision aimed to manage flood stages better and to improve access to the port of New Orleans, which is one of the busiest and most critical ports in the nation. Critics argue that the Army Corps engineers' long-standing focus on protecting shipping interests, which dates back to the early 1800s, has severely degraded America's largest river system. Kelly McGinnis, the executive director of the Mississippi River Network, advocates for a vision of a healthy, functional, and resilient Mississippi River that benefits the community, land, water, and wildlife. Her organization strives to collaborate with the Corps to ensure their actions are as least harmful as possible, although there is widespread concern that prioritizing navigation has led to significant health impacts on both the river and its dependents. Bob Criss, professor of Earth, Environmental, and Planetary Sciences at Washington University in St. Louis, is particularly critical of the barge industry's demand for more dredging, channel maintenance, and larger locks and dams without wanting to bear the financial cost. Criss also highlights the extensive damage inflicted upon the river basin over the centuries, noting the loss of shallow water habitats where fish and waterfowl once thrived. Meanwhile, representatives from the Waterways Council, like Z, argue that the benefits of the inland waterway transportation system extend beyond shippers and includes industrial water supply, hydropower, and recreational boating, asserting that the nation as a whole reaps the rewards. The Mississippi River Network is pushing Congress to shift from shipping maintenance to ecosystem management, emphasizing the need for policies that respect the river's natural form and function. They believe that while the economic impact of the barge industry is significant, the priority should be meeting basic needs like health and access to clean drinking water. Recently, Congress authorized $40 million under the Water Resources Development Act for various projects including flood control, navigation, and ecosystem restoration in the lower Mississippi River. The Army Corps of Engineers is also investing $25 million over the next 5 years into a comprehensive study to reassess river management strategies, covering aspects such as flood control, navigation, water supply, and environmental restoration. Colonel Cullen Jones, commander of the Corps' New Orleans district, emphasized the importance of maintaining the Mississippi River as a crucial natural resource for future generations. And that concludes our video on why the Mississippi River is dying. If you enjoyed watching the video, then don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.